ಸಂಸಾರದಾವ ನಲಲಿಡಲೋಕ ತ್ರನಾಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣತ್ವಂ ಸಂಸಾರದಾವ ನಲಲಿಡಲೋಕ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣತ್ವಂ ಪ್ರಪ್ತಸ್ಯ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣರ್ನವಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀ ಚರಣಾರವಿಂದಂ ಪ್ರಪ್ತಸ್ಯ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣರ್ನವಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀ ಚರಣಾರವಿಂದಂ ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭೋ ಕೀರ್ತನ ನಿತ್ಯ ಗೀತಾ ವಾದಿತ್ರ ಮಾದ್ಯಾನ್ ಮನಸೋರಸೇನಾ ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭೋ ಕೀರ್ತನ ನಿತ್ಯ ಗೀತಾ ವಾದಿತ್ರ ಮಾದ್ಯಾನ್ ಮನಸೋರಸೇನಾ ರೋಮಾಂಚಕಾಂಪಾ ಶ್ರುತರಂಗ ಭಾಜೋ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀ ಚರಣಾರವಿಂದಂ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಗ್ರಹಾರಾಧನ ನಿತ್ಯನಾನಾ ಶೃಂಗಾರತಾನ್ ಮಂದಿರಮಜನಾದೋ युक्तस्य भक्तां च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसादा स्वादान्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृतैव तृप्तिं भजता सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपानां दवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपानां प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपास्य वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रतिकेलिसीद्यै यायालिबे युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षात् अतिवल्लभास्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षादरित्वेन्दा समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तास्तथा भाव्यत एव साध्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान्न गति कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान्न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायान् सुवास्यं तस्य यशस्श्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दं सुवां तस्य श्रीवन्द्यं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दं नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Madhava Radha Nila Madhava Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadrama Jayo Sudarshanam. Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Lakshmana Hanuman. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha. Jayo Gauranitai Jayo Gauranitai Jayo Gauranitai Jayo Gauranitai. Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Guru Deva Jayo Guru Deva Jayo Guru Deva Jayo Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnu Pada Pramhamsa Pradika Chaya Shtota Shata Shishima, This Divine Grace, Aparachana Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON PPT PI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnu Pada Pramhamsa Pradika Acharya Shtota Shata Shishima, This Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda Ki Jai, Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Gila Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvipa Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the Sambho devotees, all glories to the Sambho devotees, all glories to the Sambho devotees, all glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Pragladalādayine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilantanka Nakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hirdaye Narsimha Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapate Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Abhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubrenga Keshavatirtha Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Kamalavare Nakam Abhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubrenga Keshavatirtha Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jayo Keshavatita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavatita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Nitai Gaura Haribo Haribo Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol Ashmade Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.
Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Priyasi Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Abhilashi Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Abhilashi Yeto Maharasharanalo Tara Vancha Purnaho Kripa Kori Koro Tare Vrindavanavasi Morae Apila Vilas Kunje Diovasa Nayane Haribo Sada Yugala Ruparashi Nayane Haribo Sada Yugala Ruparashi Eni Vedana Daro Sakira Nugata Koro Sevadikara Diye Koro Nijadasi Sevadikara Diye Koro Nijadasi Dina Krishna Dase Koi Yena Mora Hoi Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sada Yena Phasi Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sada Yena Phasi Yani kani cha papani Paramahatyadi kani cha Tani tani pranashanti Pradakshina pade pade Yani kani cha papani Paramahantyadikani cha Tani tani pranasyanti Pradakshina pade pade Yani kani cha papani pamahatyadikani cha Tani tani pranasyanti Pradakshina pade pade Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshavasacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshavasacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshavasacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Vrinda Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai. O Tulsi, beloved Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire obtain the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wished fulfilled. Bestow mercy upon him and make him a resident of Vrindavana. My desire is also grant me residence in the pleasure groves of Shri Vrindavana town. Thus within my vision shall always behold the beautiful pastime of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower, a cowherd dancer of the Virgin. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the matter of chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods, Lord Shiva or Brahma, to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas, fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims a Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 fences in order to achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances on all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just desire trees who can fulfill to everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Pavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnarmita Sadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra pita niyamita smaranena kalaha etatishi tavakripa bhagavam mamapi durudevami desham yaha janina nurakaha trinatapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi na thanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vachagadisha kamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Toyi Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Maham Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satesham Vichintaya Nayanam Garadashuru Daraya Vadanam Gadgata Rudaya Kira Pulaka Nichitam Vapur Kada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me ashri shava padaratam pinnastumam atarshanam marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vitatha lampato matprana nathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which increases the heart of all the dust and created for years, and extinguishes fire of conditional life or repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction of humanity at large, because it expresses a reason of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases ocean transcendent bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which all is anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more taller than the tree, devoid all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Nanda Krishna, I am an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me at one Adam, the lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up, while it hurts my body stand at the station of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm considered a moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and shall remain so if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charnam prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Om Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namene Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachadate Shatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namene Shri Varshabhani Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambhana Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuka Viruta Pasitanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupa Nuka Varayate Gaura Virpava Bhumistvam Nirdishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhama Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpa Turupischa Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pangor Mama Mandar Materkati Masarvasva Padam Pojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindadana Kalpadumada Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shimadratha Shila Govinda Devo Pishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tatasitaha Karsham Venu Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shri Yestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Mangala Charnan Prayers Ki Jai Shri Paramasamhita Ki Jai Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satma Sukha Viksha Rakshariteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Paramasevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venun Kavanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Paraharatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandarpagoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantaka Lasavana Vamshi Ranangadam Panaya Keli Kalavilasam Shamam Tipanga Lalitam Yataprakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalindriya Rittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimmaya Satu Chala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Adurabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavasara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavanan Sopiasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sara Chaitum Jagatanta Kotim Ya Chakti Rasti Jagatanta Chayaya Tantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manujasta Deva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Pushaha Suktayam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham tamaham pajami. Ananta chimma rasa patipavitapi stapi evancha rupataya kalapihi Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma buddho govindam mahadi purusham tamaham pajami. Premanjana churutha bhakti vilochanena santa sateva hitayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundam achintya guna sarupam govindam mahadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ramadi murtishu kalanyamena tishtan nanavataram karo bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhava parama pumam yo govindam mahadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purple trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swing a garland of flowers beautified with a moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with a flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending from the Sham Sundar is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and his thirst full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is a beginning, and the eternal Purusha, yet he is a person possessing the beauty of a blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universes, at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency, possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extension of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever-blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundara Krishna himself with inconceivable innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions.
Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya sravana kirtanaha hridayanta histo hi apatrani vidinoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayascha cheta eter anavidam sitam satve prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate vidyate hridaya grantes chidyante sarva samasyah kshiyante chasya karmani drushta evatmanishwari. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samakram. Understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead, Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of God. Science of God perfectly. Science of Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12. Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 10. Astratheja swagadhaya niharam iva gopatihi vidatmantam sannikarshe paryakshate kshataka iti ashav. Astra Teja, radiation of the Brahmastra. Swagadaya, by means of his own club. Niharam, drops of dew. Eva, like Gopatihi, the sun. Vidhamantam, the act of vanishing. Sannikarse, nearby. Paryakshata, observing. Ka, who. Iti asau, this body. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra. Just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew, he was observed by the child who thought about who he was. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 11. Vidhuya tad ameyatma bhagavan dharma gup vibhuhu misato dasama sasya tatraivanda Thardade Harihi. Viduya, having completely washed off. Tat, that. Amit Yatma, the all pervading super soul. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Dharma Gup, the protector of righteousness. Vibhuhu, the supreme. Misatha, while observing. Dasamasasya, of one who is dressed by all directions. Tatra eva, then and there. Antaha, out of sight. Dade became Arihi, the Lord. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Child Parikshit was not observing a living being who is limited by time and space. There is a gulf of difference between the Lord and the individual living being. The Lord is mentioned herein as the supreme living being, unlimited by time and space. Every living being is limited by time and space, even though a living being is qualitatively one with the Lord. Quantitatively, there is a great difference between the supreme soul and the common individual soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, both the living beings and the supreme being are said to be all pervading. Yena sarvam idam tatam. Yet there is a difference between these two kinds of all pervasiveness. A common living being or soul can all pervading within his own limited body, but the supreme living being is all pervading in all space and time and all time. A common living being cannot extend its influence over another common living being by its all pervasiveness, but the supreme soul, the personality of Godhead, is unlimitedly able to exert his influence over all places and all times and over all living beings. And because he is all pervasive, unlimited by time and space, he can appear even within the womb of the mother of child Parikshit. He is mentioned herein as the protector of the righteousness. Anyone who is a surrendered soul unto the Supreme is righteous, and he is specifically protected by the Lord in all circumstances. The Lord is the indirect protector of the unrighteous also, for he rectifies their sins through his external potency. The Lord is mentioned herein as one who is dressed in the 10 directions. This means dressed with garments on 10 sides, up and down. He is present everywhere and can appear and disappear at his will from everywhere and anywhere. His disappearance from the sight of the child Parikshit does not mean that he appeared on the spot from any other place. He was present there, and even after his disappearance, he was there, although invisible to the eyes of the child. This material covering of the effulgent firmament is also something like a womb of the mother nature, and we are all put into the womb by the Lord, the Father of all living beings. He is present everywhere, even in this material womb of Mother Durga, and those who are deserving can see the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 12. Tata sarva gunodhar ke sanukula grahodaye jajna vamsa dhara pandur bhuya pandur ivo jasa. Tataha, thereupon, sarva, all, guna, good signs, udarke, having gradually evolved, sa anukula, all favorable, grahodaye, constellation of stellar influence, jajne, took birth, vamsadhara, heir apparent, pando, of Pandu, bhuya, being, Pandu eva, exactly like Pandu, ojasa, by prowess. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Astronomical calculations of stellar influences upon a living being are not suppositions, but are factual as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Every living being is controlled by the laws of nature at every minute, just as a citizen is controlled by the influence of the state. The state laws are grossly absurd, but the laws of material nature, being subtle to our gross understanding, cannot be experienced grossly. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 3.9, every action of life produces another reaction, which is binding upon us, and only those who are acting on behalf of Yajna, Vishnu, are not bound by reactions. Our actions are judged by the higher authorities, the agents of the Lord, and thus we are awarded bodies according to our activities. The law of nature is so subtle that every part of our body is influenced by the respective stars, and a living being obtains his working body to fulfill his terms of imprisonment by the manipulation of such astronomical influence. A man's destiny is therefore ascertained by the birth time constellation of stars, and a factual horoscope is made by a learned astrologer. It is a great science, and misuse of a science does not make it useless. Maharaja Parikshit, or even the personality of Godhead, appear in certain constellations of good stars, and thus the influence is exerted upon the body, thus born at an auspicious moment. The most auspicious constellation of stars takes place during the appearance of the Lord in this material world, and it's specifically called Jayanti, a word not to be abused for any other purposes. Maharaja Parikshit was not only a great Kshatriya emperor, but also a great devotee of the Lord. Thus, he cannot take his birth at any inauspicious moment. As a proper place and time is selected to receive a respectable personage, so also to receive such a personality as Maharaj Parikshit, who was especially cared for by the Supreme Lord. A suitable moment is chosen when all good stars assemble together to exert their influence upon the king. Thus, he took his birth just to be known as the great hero of Srimad Bhagavatam. This suitable arrangement of astral influences is never a creation of man's will, but is the arrangement of the superior management of the agency of the Supreme Lord. Of course, the arrangement is made according to the good or bad deeds of the living being. Herein lies the importance of pious acts performed by the living being. Only by pious acts can one be allowed to get good wealth, good education, and beautiful features. The samskaras of the school of Sanatana Dharma, man's eternal engagement, are highly suitable for creating an atmosphere for taking advantage of good stellar influences, and therefore Garbhadana Samskara, or the first seeding purificatory process prescribed for the higher caste, is the beginning of all pious acts to receive a good, pious, and intelligent class of men in human society. There will be peace and prosperity in the world due to good and sane population only. There is hell and disturbance only because of the unwanted, insane or populace addicted to sex indulgence.
Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 13. Tasya prita manaraja viprae daumya kripadivi
Jatakam karayamas vachayitva cha mangalam tasya, his pritamanaha, satisfied Raja, King Yudhishthira, Viprai by the learned Brahmanas, Daumya, Kripa, Adibihi, and others also. Jatakam, one of the purificatory processes performed just after the birth of a child. Karayam Asa, had them performed. Vachayitva, by recitation. Cha also, Mangalam, auspicious. Translation: King Yudhishthira, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaja Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmanas headed by Daumya and Kripa recited auspicious hymns. Purport: There is no need for a good and intelligent class of Brahmanas who are expert. There is a need for a good and intelligent class of Brahmanas who are expert in performing the purificatory processes prescribed in the system of Varnashrama Dharma. Unless such purificatory processes are performed, there is no possibility of good population. And in the age of Kali, the population all over the world is of Sudra quality, or lower, for want of this purificatory process. It is not possible, however, to revive the Vedic process of purification in this age, for want of proper facilities and good Brahmanas. But there is a Pancharatrika system also recommended for this age. The Pancharatrika system acts on the Sudra class of men, supposedly the population of the Kali Yuga, and it is the prescribed purificatory process suitable to the age and time. Such a purificatory process is allowed only for spiritual upliftment and not for any other purpose. Spiritual upliftment is never conditioned by higher or lower parentage. After the Garbhadana purificatory process, there are certain other samskaras like Simanto Nayana, Sada Bhakshanam, etc. during the period of pregnancy. And when the child is born, the first purificatory process is Jata Karma. This was performed duly by Maharaja Yudhishthira with the help of good and learned Brahmanas like Daumya, the royal priest, and Kripacharya, who was not only a priest but also a great general. Both these learned and perfect priests, assisted by other good Brahmanas, were employed by Maharaja Yudhishthira to perform the ceremony. Therefore, all the samskaras, purificatory processes, are not mere formalities of social functions only, but they are all for practical purposes and can be successfully performed by expert Brahmanas like Daumya and Kripa. Such Brahmanas are not only rare but also not available in this age, and therefore, for the purpose of spiritual upliftment in this foreign age, the Goswamis prefer the purificatory processes under Pancharatrika formulas to the Vedic rites. Kripacharya is the son of the great rishi Sardban and was born in the family of Gautama. The birth is said to be accidental. By chance, the great rishi Sardban met Janapadi, a famous society girl of heaven, and the rishi Sardban discharged semen in two pots. By one pot immediately a male child, and by the other pot a female child were born as twins. The male child was later on known as Kripa, and the female child was known as Kripi. Maharaja Shantanu, while engaged in chase in jungle, picked up the children and brought them up to the Brahmanical status by the proper purificatory process. Kripacharya later became a great general like Dronacharya, and his sister was married to Dronacharya. Kripacharya later on took part in the battle of Kurukshetra and joined the party of Duryodhana. Kripacharya helped kill Abhimanyu, the father of Maharaja Parikshita, but he was still held in esteem by the family of the Pandavas due to his being as great a Brahmana as Dronacharya. When the Pandavas were sent to the forest after being defeated in the gambling game with Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra entrusted the Pandavas to Kripacharya for guidance. After the end of the battle, Kripacharya again became a member of the royal assembly, and he was called during the birth of Maharaja Parikshit for recitation of auspicious Vedic hymns to make the ceremony successful. Maharaja Yudhishthira, while quitting the palace for his great departure to Himalayas, entrusted Kripacharya with Maharaja Parikshit as his disciple, and he left home satisfied because of Kripacharya's taking charge of Maharaja Parikshit. The great administrators, kings, and emperors were always under the guidance of learned Brahmanas like Kripacharya, and thus were able to act properly in the discharge of political responsibilities. Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 14. Hiranyam gam mahim graman hasti aswan rupatirvaran pradat swannam cha viprebhya prajatirde satirdavit. Hiranyam, gold. Gam, cows. Mahim, land. Graman, villages. Hasti, elephants. Ashwan, horses. Rupati, the king. Varan, rewards. Pradat, given charity. Suannam, good food grains. Cha and Viprebhya, unto the Brahmanas. Prajatirde, on the occasion of giving in charity on the birthday of a son. Sahi, Tirdavid, one who knows how, when, and where charity is to be given. Translation. Welcome.
Upon the birth of a son, the king who knows how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villagers, elephants, horses, and good food, grains to the Brahmanas. Purport: only the Brahmanas and sannyasis are authorized to accept charity from the horseholders in all the different occasions of samskaras, especially during the time of birth, marriage, and death. Wealth is distributed to the Brahmanas. Because the Brahmanas give the highest quality of service in regard to the prime necessity of humankind. The charity was substantial in the shape of gold land, villages, horses, elephants, and good and food, grinds with order materials for cooking, complete foodstuff. The brahmanas were not therefore poor in the actual sense of the term. On the contrary, because they possessed gold, land, villagers, horses, wood, elephants, and sufficient grind. Greens. They had nothing to earn for themselves. They would simply devote themselves to the well-being of the entire society. The word Tirthavit is significant because the king knew well where and when charity has to be given. Charity is never unprotective or blind. Blind in the Shastras. Charity was offered to persons who deserve to accept charity by dint of spiritual enlightenment. The so-called Darida Narana, a misconception of the Supreme Lord by amusing unauthorized persons is never to be found in the Shastras as the object of charity, nor can a worst pure man receive much munificent charity in the way of horses, elephant, land, and villagers. The conclusion is that the intelligent man or the Brahmanas sufficiently engaged in the service of the Lord were properly maintained without anxiety for the needs of the body. And the king and other householders gladly looked after all their comforts. It is enjoined in the Sastratas that as long as a child is joined with the mother by the navel pipe, the child is considered to be of one body with the mother, but as soon as the pipe is cut and the child is spirited from the mother, the purificatory process of jat karma is performed. The administrative demigods and past forefathers of the family come to see a newly born child, and such an occasion is specifically accepted as the proper time for distributing wealth to the right persons productively for the spiritual advancement of society.
Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 15. Tamucho brahmanastusta rajanam prastrayanvitam esha hi asmin prajatantau purunam pauravarshaba. Tam, unto him, Uchu addressed Brahmana, the learned Brahmanas. Tusta, very much satisfied. Rajanam, unto the king. Prasraya Anvitam, very much obliging. Esha, this, he certainly, Asmin, in the chain of Prajatantau, descending line. Purunam, of the Purus. Paurava Urshaba, the chief among the Purus. Translation.
The learned Brahmanas who were very satisfied with the charities of the king addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus, and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus.
Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 16. Daivena pratidatena shukle samsamu peyushi radavo anu grahadaya vishnuna prabha vishnuna. Daivena, by supernatural power. Apratigate gatena, by what is irresistible. Sukle, unto the pure. Samstam, destruction. Upayusi, having been enforced. Radha, restored. Vah, for you. Anugraha ardaya, for the sake of obliging. Vishnuna, by the all-pervasive Lord. Prabha Vishnuna, by the all-powerful. Translation.
Yeah. Upon the birth, the Brahmana said, this spotless sun has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible, supernatural weapons.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The child Parikshit was saved by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Vishnu, Lord Krishna, for two reasons. The first reason is that the child in the womb of his mother was spotless due to his being a pure devotee of the Lord. The second reason is that the child was the only surviving male descendant of Puru, the pious forefather of the virtuous King Yudhishthira. The Lord wants to continue the line of pious kings to rule over the earth as his representatives for the actual progress of a peaceful and prosperous life. After the battle of Kurukshetra, even up to the next generation of Maharaja Yudhishthira was annihilated, and there were none who could generate another son in the great royal family. Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, was the only surviving heir apparent in the family, and by the irresistible supernatural Brahmastra weapon of Ashwadhama, he was forced to be annihilated. Lord Krishna is described herein as Vishnu, and this is also significant. Lord Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, does the work of production and annihilation in his capacity of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. The all-pervasive activities of the Lord are executed by him in his Vishnu feature. Child Parikshit is described here as spotlessly white because he is an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Such unalloyed devotees of the Lord appear on the earth just to execute the mission of the Lord. The Lord desires the conditioned souls hovering in the material creation to be reclaimed to go back home, back to Godhead. And thus he helps them by preparing the transcendental literatures like the Vedas, by sending missionaries of saints and sages, and by deputing his representative, the spiritual masters. Such transcendental literatures, missionaries, and representatives of the Lord are spotlessly white because the contamination of the material qualities cannot even touch them. They are always protected by the Lord when they are threatened with annihilation. Such foolish threats are made by the gross materialists. The Brahmastra, which was thrown by Ashwadhama as a child Parikshit, was certainly supernaturally powerful, and nothing of the material could resist its force of penetration. But the all-powerful Lord, who is present everywhere, within and without, could counteract it by his all-powerful potency just to save a bona fide servant of the Lord and descendant of another devotee, Maharaja Yudhishthira, who is always obliged by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 17. Tasman namna Vishnu Radha iti loke bhavishyati na sandeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. Tasmad, therefore, namna, by the name, Vishnu Rata, protected by Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, iti, thus, loke, in all the planets, bhavishyati, shall become well known, no, sandehaha, doubts, mahabhaga, most fortunate, mahabhagavata, the first class devotee of the Lord, mahan, qualified by all good qualities. Translation. Are you ready? We'll stick it later with the glue. We'll do it with the glue. We need glue for this. I'll get the glue at home.
Yes, iron. For this reason, this child will be known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that his child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities. Purport: the Lord gives protection to all living beings because He is their supreme leader. The Vedic hymns confirm that the Lord, the Supreme Person, amongst all personalities of...
Okay, I'll read it. The difference between the two living beings is that the one, the personality of Godhead, provides for all other living beings. And by knowing Him, one can achieve eternal peace. Kadana Upanishad. No, this is not wrong. This is the wrong one. Okay, here. First, follow me.
Such protection is given by His different potencies to different grades of living beings, but as far as His in the Lord devotees are concerned, He gives the protection personally. Therefore, Maharaja Parikshit is protected from the very beginning of his appearance in the womb of his mother. And because he is especially given protection by the Lord, the invitation must be concluded by that the child would be a first grade devotee.
A devotee of the Lord with all good qualities. There are three grades of devotees, namely the Mahabhagavata, Madhyama Adhikari, and the Kanishta Adhikari. Those who go to the temples of the Lord and offer, follow, while I'm reading, then you learn, and offer worshipful respect to the deity without sufficient knowledge in the theological science, and therefore without any respect for the devotees of the Lord, are called materialistic devotees or Kanishta Adhikari, the third grade devotees. Secondly,
the devotees who have developed a mentality of genuine service to the Lord, and who thus make friendships only with similar devotees, show
favor to the neophytes and avoid the atheists are called the second grade devotees. But those who see everything in the Lord or everything of the Lord, and also see in everything an eternal relation of the Lord, so that there is nothing within their purview of sight except the Lord, are called the Mahabhagavatas, or the first grade devotees of the Lord. Such first grade devotees of the Lord are perfect in all respects. A devotee who may be in any of these categories is automatically qualified by all good qualities, and thus a Mahabhagavata devotee. Did you find?
Mahabhagavata.
Like Maharaja Parikshit is certainly perfect in all respects, and because Maharaj Parikshit took his birth in the family of Maharaja Yudhishthira, he is addressed herein as Mahabhagavata, or the greatest of the fortunates. The family in which a Mahabhagavata takes his birth is fortunate because, due to the birth of a first grade devotee, the members of the family, past, present, and future, up to 100 generations, become liberated by the grace of the Lord, out of respect for his beloved devotee. Therefore, the highest benefit is done to one's family simply by becoming an alloyed. Next one. An alloyed devotee of the Lord. Canto 1, Chapter 12. Canto 1, Chapter 12. Text 18. Sri Raja Uvacha Apiyesha Vamsyan Rajarshan Punya Shlokan Mahatmana Anuvardita Svi Yashasa Sadhu Vadena Sattamaha. Sri Raja, the all good king Maharaja Yudhishthira, Uvacha said, Api, whether Esha this Vamsyan family, Rajarshin of saintly kings, Punya Slokan, pious by the very name, Mahatmana, all great souls, Anuvardita, follower. Swit, will it be? Yashasa, by achievement. Sadhu Vadena, by glorification. Sattamaha, O great souls. Translation. Come.
You always take my translation. You always take my purple.
The good king,
The good king
Yudhishthira,
Yudhishthira inquired, O great souls, will he become as saintly a king as proud in his very name and is famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family. Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakta Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The forefathers of King Yudhishthira were all great saintly king, pious and glorified by their great achievements. They were all saints on the royal throne. And therefore all the members of the state were happy.
pious, well behaved, prosperous, and spiritually enlightened. Under strict guidance of the great souls and spiritual injunctions, such great saintly kings were trained up, and as a result, the kingdom was full of saintly persons and was a happy land of spiritual life. Maharaja Yudhishthira
So this was himself a replica of his
ancestors
ancestors and forefathers, and he desired that the next king after him became exactly like his great forefathers. He was happy to learn from the learned Brahmanas that by astrological calculations the child would be born a first grade devotee of the Lord. The more confidently he wanted to know whether the child was going to follow in the footsteps of his great forefathers, that is the way of the
monarchical state.
The
Reigning king,
should be a pious,
chivalrous,
devotees of the Lord, and fear personified for the upstarts. He must always leave, and he must also leave on and hair apparent equally qualified to rule over the innocent citizens in the modern setup of the democratic states of the people themselves are falling to the qualities of the Sudras or less, and the government is run by their representative who is ignorant of the scriptural mode of the administrative education. Thus, the whole atmosphere is
Surcharged with
Sudra qualities manifested by lust and arise. Such administrators quarrel of every day more amongst themselves. The cabinet of ministers changes often due the party and groups selfishness. Everyone wants to exploit the state resources till he dies. No on theories retires from life unless forced to do so. How can such low grade men do good to the people? The result is corruption, intrigue, and hypocrisy. They should learn from the Srimad Bhagavatam how idle the administrators must be before they can be given change the different charge of different posts.
Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 19. Brahmana chu Parda Prajavita Saksha Ikshvakur Iva Manava Brahmanya Satya Sandasya Ramo Dasharatir Yata. Brahmana, the good Brahmanas, Uchu said, Partha, O son of Partha Kunti, Praja, those who are born, Avita, maintainer, Saksha, directly, Ikshvaku Iva, exactly like the Ikshvaku, Manava, son of Manu, Brahmanaya, followers and respectful to the Brahmanas, Satya Sanda, truthful by promise, Cha, also Rama, the personality of Godhead, Rama, Dasharadihi, the son of Maharaja Dasharada, Yada, like him. Translation: the learned Brahmana said, O son of Partha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahmanical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Rama, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaja Darasharada. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Praja means the living being who has taken his birth in the material world. Actually, the living being has no birth and no death, but because of his separation from the service of the Lord and due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is offered a suitable body to satisfy his material desires. In doing so, one becomes conditioned by the laws of material nature, and the material body is changed in terms of his own work. The living entity thus transmigrates from one body to another in 8,400,000 species of life. But due to his being the part and parcel of the Lord, he not only is maintained with all necessaries of life by the Lord, but also is protected by the Lord and his representatives, the saintly kings. These saint kings give protection to all the prajas or living beings to live and to fulfill their terms of imprisonment. Maharaja Parikshit was actually an ideal saintly king because while touring his kingdom, he happened to see that a poor cow was about to be killed by the personified Kali, whom he at once took to task as a murderer. This means that even the animals were given protection by the saintly administrators, not from any sentimental point of view, but because those who have taken their birth in the material world have the right to live. All the saintly kings, beginning from the king of the sun globe down to the king of the earth, are so inclined by the influence of the Vedic literatures. The Vedic literatures are taught in higher planets also, as there is reference in the Bhagavad Gita 4.1 about the teachings to the sun god Vivaswan by the Lord. Such lessons are transferred by disciplic succession, as it was done by the sun god to his son Manu, and from Manu to Maharaja Ikshvaku. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and the Manu referred to herein is the seventh Manu, who is one of the Prajapatis, those who create progeny, and he is the son of the sun god. He is known as Vaivashvata Manu. He had 10 sons, and Maharaja Ikshvaku is one of them. Maharaja Ikshvaku also learned Bhakti Yoga as taught in the Bhagavad Gita from his father Manu, who got it from his father, the sun god. Later on, the teaching of Bhagavad Gita came down by disciplic succession from Maharaja Ikshvaku, but in course of time the chain was broken by unscrupulous persons, and therefore it again had to be taught to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So all the Vedic literatures are current from the very beginning of creation of the material world, and thus the Vedic literatures are known as Apauruseya, not made by man. The Vedic knowledge was spoken by the Lord and first heard by Brahma, the first created living being within the universe. Maharaja Ikshvaku, one of the sons of Vaivashvata Manu, he had 100 sons. He prohibited meat eating. His son Sashada became the next king after his death. Manu, the Manu mentioned in this verse as the father of Ikshvaku, is the seventh Manu, of the name Vaivashvata Manu, the son of sun god Vivaswan, to whom Lord Krishna instructed the teachings of Bhagavad Gita prior to his teaching them to Arjuna. Mankind is a descendant of Manu. This Vaivashvata Manu had 10 sons named Ikshvaku, Nabaga, Drishta, Saryati, Narishanta, Nabaga, Dishta, Karusha, Prasruda, and Vashuman. The Lord's incarnation Matsya, the gigantic fish, was invented during the beginning of Vaivashvata Manu's reign. He learned the principles of Bhagavad Gita from his father Vivaswan, the sun god, and he re-instructed the same to his son Maharaja Ikshvaku. In the beginning of Treta Yuga, the sun god instructed devotional service to Manu, and Manu, in his turn, instructed to Ikshvaku for the welfare of the whole human society. Lord Rama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, incarnated himself as Sri Rama, accepting the sonhood of his pure devotee Maharaja Dasharatha, the king of Ayodhya. Lord Rama descended along with his plenary portions, and all of them appeared as his younger brothers. In the month of Chaitra, on the 9th day of the growing moon in the Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared as usual to establish the principles of religion and to annihilate the disturbing elements. When he was just a young boy, he helped the great sage Vishwamitra by killing Subahu and striking Maricha, the shade demon who was disturbing the sages in their daily discharge of duties. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are meant to cooperate for the welfare of the mass of people. The Brahmana sages endeavor to enlighten the people by perfect knowledge, and the Kshatriyas are meant for their protection. Lord Ramachandra is the ideal king for maintaining and protecting the highest culture of humanity, known as Brahmanya Dharma. The Lord is specifically the protector of the cows and the Brahmanas, and hence he enhances the prosperity of the world. He rewarded the administrative demigods by effective weapons to conquer the demons through the agency of Vishwamitra. He was present in the bow sacrifice of King Janaka, and by breaking the invincible bow of Shiva, he married Sita Devi, daughter of Maharaja Janaka. After his marriage, he accepted exile in the forest for 14 years by the order of his father Maharaja Darasharda. To help the administration of the demigods, he killed 14,000 demons, and by the intrigues of the demons, his wife Sita Devi was kidnapped by Ravana. He made friendship with Sugriva, who was helped by the Lord to kill Vali, brother of Sugriva. By the help of Lord Rama, Sugriva became the king of Vanaras, a race of gorillas. The Lord built a floating bridge of stones on the Indian Ocean and reached Lanka, the kingdom of Ravana, who had kidnapped Sita. Later on, Ravana was killed by him, and Ravana's brother Vibhishana was installed on the throne of Lanka. Vibhishana was one of the brothers of Ravana, a demon, but Lord Rama made him immortal by his blessings. On the expiry of 14 years after settling the affairs at Lanka, the Lord came back to his kingdom, Ayodhya, by Flower Plain. He instructed his brother Shatrugna to attack Lavanasura, who reigned at Mathura, and the demon was killed. He performed 10 Ashwamedha sacrifices, and later on he disappeared while taking a bath in the Sarayu river. The great epic Ramayana is a history of Lord Rama's activities in the world, and the authoritative Ramayana was written by the great poet Valmiki. Today we read up to Canto 1, Chapter 12, Text 19. We'll continue to read.